Okay, so let's talk about the album.
Okay.
I was really interested to hear you say that you haven't done anything like this before. So, how would you explain that?
The Normally you would get a song, and even Jim on bat, like would write. Well, he wrote half a bat, and then I said, "Where's the rest of the song?" And he looked at me funny, and he wrote the rest of it. And you record it, and you do record a song. This one, and every album I've ever done, get a song, record it, da da, bom bom, down the line. We try to keep some consistency in there, but with this one, we wanted it to be cohesive. Almost, I didn't want to have any tracks. I wanted to start and run like if you bought a Mozart record. But when we went to visit iTunes, they said to me, "You got to have tracks." I went, "Okay." So I tried to find, not like in a movie set, in a movie scene, you finalize a scene by saying, "It's great to have been here." And on this album, I tried to never finalize a song so that it flowed right to the next one. Um, so it's a very hypnotic record, and it's also it fits in the same category as Bat Out of Hell. Nothing like Bat Out of Hell, but what I mean by the same category is that there is nothing else out there in the world musically like this piece of music.
And obviously, you record your songs in characters, as characters. Would you say that what I didn't quite understand is there a character for the whole album, or is there a different character for individual songs?
There are different characters for individual songs, same as live. Each song is a different character live. And if you really watch me live, each character has different mannerisms. They do different things. They do different things with the mic. They do different things with their hands. They do. They're minor, but they're different. Yeah, Jimmy. The first song on this record is called "Who Needs the Young," and it was written when he was 19 years old, and it's a very, very angry song. And the one thing I've never done with Jim is ask him why he's ever written a song. Ever. And he's never asked me, "What character are you doing?" Most of the time it's always, "You're not singing the right melody." that's most of his notes. That's a writer. Um, and I might say to him, "We need to adapt these two lines to fit this theme a little bit better." And he never complained. Um, uh, so I was going to say something else, but I'll stay on my point. Um, he wrote it when he was 19. We recorded that song first. And when I said to him, "Let's do another album," we almost at the same time said, "We're going to open the album with Who Needs the Young." You'd be surprised how many times we've been in the studio, been perfectly quiet, and we turn to each other and say the same thing at the same time. It's not like two or three. It goes into the 60 or 70s. So I decided to make that character 19. And to make him, and people have they haven't argued with me, but they've sort of argued with me. Yeah, but if you're 19, why would you? It seems like it's from an older person's, perspective. I'm saying Jim wrote this when he was 19. He didn't have an older perspective, and it's very confusing. They don't realize how brilliant Jim is, and how he can project himself into different situations. And so I decided that I would take it and sing it as a 19-year-old. The difference between what I did and Jim did is that Jimmy had done a demo of it a long time ago. He stayed angry through the whole song. I didn't. At the end of the song, I brought it down. It's a very soft voice, and I'm kind of calming down. But the last line, and I go up on it, learning to die, so that I could come into the next song, somewhere there's a night. And the next song, I was going up the octave, and Jimmy said, "Don't be afraid of your low voice." He said, "Your low voice is spectacular." And that's the one complaint that I've heard from people that have heard certain things is, well, he doesn't sound like he did on Bat. Well, that was 40 years ago. I can still go up the octave. It's just that with Carla and Ellen singing Going All the Way, it didn't sound right, me being up high. It sounded better me staying low and letting them let Carla. I mean, Carla's so high, it's unbelievable. I wanted to raise the key, and we couldn't raise the key because Carla couldn't get any higher. I mean, I don't know what note that is, but that's a high note. And yesterday, the song was praised by the biggest rock magazine in Germany as the best duet in rock history. So I'm going to go around and brag about that for a while.
I love the fact that you managed to get both ladies on the record as well.
Yeah, Jimmy and I both thought that was the right thing to do. So I called Carla. I said, "I'll call Carla, you call Ellen. Sit her up and tell her I'm going to call her." So I called Carla, and she was in right away. And it took my phone call to Ellen to get her in. You know, she was going with Jimmy. Well, maybe. Then we'll see. Let's try. And so when I called her, she was like, "Okay, I'll do it." It took my call. And so we did a sneaky little thing. We we booked their planes. Ellen was coming from New York, Carla was coming from Indiana. But we booked their planes to land within minutes of each other. So, and in Nashville, they wouldn't have run into each other at the carousel where you're picking up luggage. And then we had separate cars for them. And one of them, I don't know which one it was checking into the hotel when the other one came into the hotel. So I don't know what that was like. I have no idea. But I guess they talked for a few minutes, and then I think it was Carla that suggested, "Why don't we have dinner?" And so Alan said yes. So the next day they called and said, "We don't need 2 cars, we only need 1. And they were there for about 5 days because it's a 12-minute song. So you have to look at that as being 3 songs, basically. So we sang for 4 days, just because it's a difficult arrangement vocally. Because you really couldn't go, "Okay, Carla, you sing all of your stuff." I had to sing my stuff. Then we had to get Carla, and then I had to switch and get Carla out and get Ellen in, and Carla and Ellen. and it got crazy. And then as we got near the end, I kind of had put a reference vocal on and Carla sang along with that to speed things up. But they were there for 5 days, and the 5th day was just to make sure that everything was okay.
Excellent. I love the fact that it's kind of brought everything together as well. It's such a parallel.
Yeah, we have the go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to move on because I've got so many questions.
Go.
There's a warning on the label saying it's not PC. Do people get your humour now? Do you think they've finally twigged?
No, they don't, because when you take a song like "Bat Out of Hell," I mean, it's really silly. Then I'm dying in the bottom of a pit at the blazing sun, torn and twisted. It's funny, but you have to take that character. It's just like in comedy. If you're doing a comedy, that you have to play that character real. And the minute you go for comedy, it's never funny. That character has to be real, and that character has to be the truth. And then it's funny, because you go, how could he do that? And you take the great comedians, they're always telling you the truth. Steve Martin, in any of his comedies, it's always the truth coming from that character. So on songs like Bat or songs like any of them, it always has to be you have to be honest, and you have to be truthful, and you have to be in that moment. So it works, but yeah, they're all funny.
It's brilliant. I love the warning. That was great. I'm going to come back a bit later to talk a bit more about your relationship with Jim.
Okay.
But obviously people want to know if you're going to tour the album.
Well, yeah, we weren't telling anybody, but we did the BBC breakfast show yesterday, and the announcer, what's his name?
Dan.
What?
We just Dan. You just want to tell people you're working on the tour dates, and when we get
Yeah, I know. No, but Dan brought up that, oh, you've got a pinched nerve in your back. And I went, no one was supposed to know that. So I said, yeah. So, but we will get this taken care of, and then we will sort out the tour dates.
It must be quite vigorous and like doing those stage shows, like playing all those characters on stage. Do you have like a regime that you have to stick to when you're on tour?
Oh, yeah. I'm really disciplined. After a show, I try not to talk. Days off, I don't talk. I never leave my room. I don't go anywhere for dinner. I don't go to clubs. I stay by myself most of the time. Frances, her ritual is at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, she comes in and checks on me on a day off. Like, a nurse in an old folks home. She comes and goes, "You okay?" I feel like I'm in an old folks home. But I'm very disciplined. And then we go to the shows 4 or 5 hours beforehand. And I don't really listen to myself sing during the show. I'm so much in the character. And the character is visualizing the images. Like Frying Pan, what's the lyrics? I've only sung it 9,000 times. I can't remember the lyrics right now. But it's about a street, and I see the street, and I see it's hot, and there's a girl, and she's on a porch, and I see all these images, and I don't I know the words are coming out, but I don't really know what's coming out. And so I have to go to the next show, and listen to the tape to find out what I sang. And usually, unless I'm hoarse, it's okay. It's all right. And once in a while, I'm really happy.
So physically, you almost kind of go into hypnotic kind of state on stage when becoming the characters.
Yeah, I don't have a. I know what the rest of the band's doing. Well, I know what the guitar players are doing, because the show is very choreographed, but yet it looks improv. And that's what I want it to look. I want it to look like a rock show. There's certain bands that are so choreographed, you can put feet prints on the stage and they would step on them every night. And if you've seen them more than once, it's exactly the same thing every night. We don't do the same thing every night, because the guitar players know I will do different moves all the time. And when they see me make different moves, they will make different moves. So it's choreographed improv. And the same with the duets. The girls that I've sung with have never known what I was going to do next. And that neither do I. We'll be singing along in Paradise, for example, and it comes to a speaking part that she has. I'm not able to say anything, and it just comes out, and then there's either this banter or it moves on. Sometimes it's long and they're getting to this whole, insult kind of thing, and sometimes it's just like we move on. But I never know what's going to come out.
So you put so much work into your live show. It sounds like it's a lot of work, a lot of thought, a lot of.
I put a lot. Yeah. Everything I do. My agent for film said to me, "I have never seen another actor do what you do when he goes for a reading for a film or TV." He says, "I've never seen anyone work that hard." I said, "But it's what I do." I said, "I want the role. If they don't give it to me, it's their mistake, not mine. They've made the mistake."
How much acting are you wanting to do at the moment? Because obviously this project's going to be taking up quite a lot of time.
Well, it's going to take a while for my back. So I don't know when we'll be able to go out on tour, but I have an offer for a film starting in January and running until the end of March. I have to read the script. I had an offer for a film that was going to run for 7 weeks, starting September the 10th. And I knew I couldn't do that. So I didn't even read the script, because I knew if I read the script and I liked it, I'd be really upset. And then I had a really funny call from my agent. Said, "They want you to do a pilot in New Orleans, but it's really bad." I said, "Well, why are you calling me?" "Well, I just wanted you to know." He said, "But it's really bad." I go, "Well, then I'm not doing it, am I?"
I obviously need to ask you about when you collapsed on stage this year.
It was dehydration. That's all it was. Because we don't have the kind of show where we play a song, the singer goes back and gets a drink of water or whatever and comes up and talks to the audience and says to them, "This next song is about when I ran over my dog with my truck," and plays the song. Again, same thing I want to do with the record. it's more like a symphony. It just runs. The music never stops. And so I have very little chance to get back to, there's like 3 times, 4 times, then I get back to the drum riser where the water and the Gatorade, and I have cough drops and gum and garlic, and I don't know, I have more stuff back there, it's ridiculous. I've got these special kind of cough drops, and oh, it's completely insane. But they're really good. They're Chinese. So it was just dehydration. But what floored me was I figured that the Edmonton radio would say something about it in the Edmonton paper. But the fact that it literally went around the world. I mean, literally. I did an interview with a woman from Japan, and that was her first question. And then an interview with someone from Thailand, and that was their first question. And I'm going, and I finally said to somebody, I said, you know, there's a lot more to report about in the world than me falling down on this stage in Edmonton. There's a lot more important things.
People was just scared.
I don't remember being scared.
You woke up in the hospital, didn't you? So
Yeah.
you didn't know what was going on at all.
Not really.
We don't want to
I kind of woke
Okay.
up on stage, but I don't remember what was going on.
Do you have a plan for if you're ill on stage? I just think your show sounds so exhausting.
Oh, I have a plan if I die.
What's that?
Well, the band plays when the Saints go marching in, and then they all get off their instruments and they lead the audience in a song. It'd be tough in Britain to do this. We'd have to find another song in Britain. If it was in America, a song called "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." And so they would lead the audience in the song "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." And if it was too morbid to leave me on the stage, take me off the stage and still do the same thing.
That's
I'm
brilliant.
so sorry that we don't need to do like one more question because I've got the other guys.
Oh, okay, fine.
What?
We just got everyone stacking up waiting
Oh.
outside.
Sorry.
I have no idea what we're doing.
Final question then. Oh, just quickly, Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Is that from a musical?
I'm sorry.
No, sorry, I said that really fast. Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Is that from a musical? The song.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it might be. Anyway,
Could be.
I'll go look it up. Final
But-
question then. They said they're going to do a Batter Uphill musical.
They are, yeah, Jimmy. That has been Jim Steinman's dream before he met me. And that's what Who Needs the Young was written for. Every song that Jim Steinman has ever written has been for this musical. Now, he can't put all these songs in that musical. So I have the script up in my room, and it's, well, anyway, I won't give anything away. But I'm just happy that my friend and someone who I love dearly and have worked with for over 40 years is finally seeing his dream come true.
Sounds amazing.
There's one other little thing that I was trying to get out. All the characters on this record are sung as 19-year-olds.
Okay, so different characters, but all that age group.
There is one character that repeats himself.
Okay.
The same character in Who Needs the Young is in More. And he becomes a serial killer when he gets to More.
Okay.
I want more. See, you got to understand my way of thinking and how I analyze the lyrics. And I said, this guy's a serial killer. I want more. And then the girls sing, I want all the love I can get. And that's, It's like I watch Criminal Minds, so if you watch Criminal Minds enough, you will understand how I could get a serial killer out of the song more.
I know we're out of time, but I was really interested about the character for Souvenirs as well. Because
Well,
obviously,
that was a tough one.
yeah.
That took me a long time.
Oh.
It wasn't until it took me about 6 days, and it wasn't until the lines, "I don't want to play with you no more," and that was like a 13-year-old, and so I said, "Oh, all I could do is make this guy 6 years older." So, and you had to forget. People go, "Well, how can you do that? You're 68. You've had all these things in your life. How can you possibly do that?" Well, they don't understand. I'm an actor. I can regress. I've told directors, if they wanted, I can play an Irish milkmaid.
Amazing.
You've got to wrap it up.
That's brilliant. What a quote to end the interview on. I can play an Irish milkmaid. Brilliant. That was amazing. Thank you very much.